Hi everyone, it's Reilly. I hope everyone listening has not been too affected by the hurricane. I'm recording this on Thursday the 29th, and here in Kagawa it's been raining all day, but the typhoon, sorry I said hurricane. I guess if you listen to that previous episode, hurricane is what we call it in the East Coast of the US. But anyway, the typhoon is coming still. It hasn't really taken full effect in Kagawa yet. Some people I know have no work tomorrow. Their job site workplaces have canceled work, but here everything's going on as normal, I think. But anyway, I hope if you're listening that you're okay and are keeping dry as best you can. Anyway, that's about all for that. Today I'm going to talk about fast food places, kind of not related at all to the weather or whatever. But I'm going to talk about fast food places other than hamburgers. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But before that, I'm Reilly. My Instagram is Reilly Sullivan XD. Sota is eigonosota. And so with the Instagrams out of the way, let's go. Okay. So America and fast food. Obviously, the most famous American fast food restaurant is McDonald's. And, maybe not in Japan, but I think in a lot of the rest of the world, the other famous American fast food restaurants are Burger King and Wendy's, which are both burger restaurants. And certainly there are a lot of fast food hamburger restaurants in the US. I mean, I could probably do an entire episode on all the different hamburger places and how they're different depending on what region you go to and how their hamburgers are different, but that would probably only be entertaining for big hamburger fans like myself. So I'm going to talk about all the other kinds of fast food in the US, because there's a lot more. I mean, I guess, if there's anything that Americans love, it's probably fast food. Maybe the second biggest kind of chain after a burger restaurant might be a sandwich restaurant. I think in Japan, I haven't seen one in a while, but there used to be a Subway in Takamatsu. There might still be in other parts of Japan, I don't know, but so the Subway restaurant chain is one of the biggest sandwich restaurants that you can go to. And if you've ever been to one, you probably know, but basically you can choose your bread and your protein, whatever meat you want in there. You can choose if you want turkey and ham, or if you want salami, or if you want some kind of chicken, or even meatballs is a common one. And then they have kind of a salad bar where the staff, the worker, will pick out whatever vegetables you want to put on it. If you want lettuce or tomato, or if you want olives or whatever, and then you can pick the sauce. And so that's kind of one of the perks of Subway. One of the good points of Subway is that you can kind of choose what you want to put on your sandwich. That being said, I think Subway is one of the worst sandwich shops. There's a lot. There's one called Blimpie. There's Quiznos, Jersey Mike's, Jimmy John's. There's a bunch of sandwich shops. My favorite is probably Jersey Mike's, maybe Jimmy John's. Those are both good ones in my opinion. It's hard to exactly describe why they're better. I think just the bread is better. The fillings, the things you put in the sandwich tend to be better quality, I guess. I don't know. That's about that. Another really popular one would be probably chicken restaurants. Usually fried chicken, pretty much always fried chicken. Obviously in Japan you have KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's really popular. But in the US there's a bunch more. I think Popeyes might be the biggest competitor to KFC. There's also Chick-fil-A. Bunch of other places do fried chicken, like Cane's is one. There's a lot. I think Chick-fil-A is like generally considered like a very good fast food restaurant. Pretty much everyone likes Chick-fil-A. They mostly do sandwiches, I think, rather than like, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken is more famous for like buckets of chicken, at least in the US. You would go and get like a bucket full of different parts of chicken for your family or whatever. Chick-fil-A is probably more famous for like sandwiches, a chicken sandwich. And yeah, I don't know how much else you can really say about chicken. What was that? A few years ago, I don't remember exactly when it was, maybe 2020, maybe before the pandemic, I don't remember. There was kind of Popeyes, and Popeyes, the chicken restaurant, came out with a spicy chicken sandwich. And then like a few other restaurants, basically like every other restaurant that sold chicken came out with a spicy chicken sandwich, because the Popeyes one was like so popular. There would be lines, for like hours outside the restaurants or whatever. So people really like chicken, but it's kind of difficult to talk about what the difference between different kinds of chicken restaurants are, I think. But okay. After sandwiches and chicken, the next most popular or most common might be Mexican food. I don't know, like tacos and burritos and stuff like that. I don't know if burritos are really very popular in Japan or known in Japan. So, Taco Bell is like probably the most famous taco chain. And like the kind of typical taco from Taco Bell would be like a hard shell taco, meaning it's kind of like a tortilla chip, like a Dorito or something, but it's shaped in like this U shape, and then you they fill it with meat and usually tomatoes and lettuce and some like shredded cheese, and then you can put like a salsa or whatever on it. So that's like a kind of American style fast food taco with the hard shell. You can get soft shell too, which means like it's a kind of more like a tortilla flatbread kind of thing. And then a burrito is like a bigger version of that. So a soft tortilla filled with usually meat and also sometimes rice and beans, and then all the other, maybe lettuce, tomato, hot sauce, cheese, all that stuff. Taco Bell itself is kind of famous for doing weird stuff, like having like a taco pizza that's like a pizza with taco stuff you usually put on a taco, you put on the pizza, and stuff like that. But then there's other places that are more famous for just the burrito, like Chipotle. Chipotle is it's almost similar to Subway, where you say what kind of meat you want in your burrito, and then you choose the different fillings, the different vegetables and salsa, like, the sauce that you want to put in it. There's a bunch of burrito places. There's Moe's, Qdoba, what is it called? Baja Fresh or something? Yeah, Baja Fresh it's called. So there's quite a few, the Del Taco is another one that's kind of more like Taco Bell style, not only burritos. Okay. And so after Mexican, there's, I guess, like Chinese food. There's not a ton of different stores, but pretty much everywhere you go that has like a lot of fast food restaurants, like a mall cafeteria, will have Chinese food there. And the biggest one is called Panda Express. And the way that works usually is you pick like an entree, like a main dish, and then a side. And how that usually works, I think the main dish is like American style Chinese food, which maybe I could do an episode on, talking about the difference between American style Chinese food and like Japanese Chinese food, and maybe real Chinese food. But yeah, American style Chinese food is like usually pretty sweet, sometimes deep fried. Like my favorite thing to get from Panda Express is like General Tso's chicken or orange chicken. It's pretty similar, where it's basically like chicken. I think probably it's usually chicken breast, and then they kind of bread it, fry it, and then cover it in like this kind of sweet and a little bit spicy orange flavored sauce. So you get that, and that's your entree, I guess you could say, your main part of the meal. And then you get a side, which is often like fried rice, or I think lo mein is a side, which is like kind of yakisoba style stuff. And you can probably get vegetables or something as a side, but I never did that. And there's other Chinese restaurants that you'll see in that kind of like a food court of a mall or of like a airport or something like that. But I feel like Panda Express is the main one that you would see like on its own as like its own store. But I could be wrong. Then, I guess I'm skipping a big one is pizza. There's a lot of pizza chains. I think probably there's a few of them in Japan. Pizza Hut, Domino's. I think both of those are in Japan. There's more. There's like Papa John's is one. When I was a kid, I liked Papa John's more than Pizza Hut and Domino's. And then there's like a lot more. Little Caesars is famous because like the pizza is always ready. They don't have to make the pizza, so you can just go in and say like I want a pizza, and they will give it to you like right away. So I guess they just like make the pizza before, and they kind of like keep it hot in some kind of, I don't know, in an oven or under a hot lamp or something like that. I'm not sure. I never really went to Little Caesars because I'm not a really big fan of that idea of like the pizza always being there, always being ready. I'd rather them make it, even if it is fast food like Domino's. And that being said, it's not exactly fast food, but like in a lot of parts of the country, especially the East Coast, where I'm from, a lot of pizza shops will be what we call mom and pop pizza shops. So like, a family owns the pizza shop. It's a small business. There's only one. It's not a chain. And, I would prefer to order from them if I had the choice. The pizza's usually better. And also, maybe there's something good about like, giving your money to someone who is actually like in the community, like a person, a real person rather than like a big company. Yeah, so that's pizza stuff. But, I should say, like, even though I'd prefer to give to a mom and pop shop, I think Papa John's was my favorite. Then I think Domino's is my second favorite, and Pizza Hut's probably last. Not a big fan of Pizza Hut, to be honest. Then there's some other, I guess breakfast places is fast food too. So there's Waffle House is maybe the most famous one. Waffle House is 24 hours. Obviously waffle is in the name, so that's kind of what they're famous for. But they'll do like almost any kind of breakfast. They'll make, eggs and bacon, toast, and you can get an omelet there and pancakes and all different kinds of breakfast food. And that one feels more like a kind of American diner where it's definitely fast food, but you can kind of sit at the counter and you can watch the cook, make your food. So, if you order eggs, he will like cook your eggs the way you want them. So even though it's a chain and it's fast food, it's more like a kind of a real restaurant, I guess you could say. But Waffle House has kind of a reputation because it's 24 hours for being kind of crazy at night. There's a lot of videos on YouTube or whatever of like people getting in fights at Waffle House because, it's like 2 a.m. and they're drunk and they're coming from a party or something like that. But if you go there for actual breakfast, it's usually pretty good. There's also Denny's, which I know you have in Japan, but the Denny's in Japan is nothing like the Denny's in America. Denny's in America is mostly a breakfast place, and they have like, it's called a Grand Slam. I don't think that exists in Japan. The Grand Slam is like a meal. I forget exactly what it is, but it's a huge breakfast. It's like 3 pancakes, 2 eggs, some toast, maybe a sausage, or I forget. There's like, it's a really big breakfast that it includes, at least I think, pancakes, eggs, and some kind of meat. Yeah. I could keep going. There's a lot more fast food restaurants. I mean, honestly, if I thought about it, I could probably name about maybe 50 restaurants, like just off the top of my head, thinking about, oh, there's that one and that one and that one. But I won't do that because it's certainly not that interesting. But like everybody kind of has their own opinions, of course, of like what are the good fast food restaurants and what are the bad fast food restaurants. And it's kind of a thing among like YouTubers or even just like friends doing it together of making like what's called a tier list of fast food restaurants. So tier list means like, you know, you'll say like S tier. S tier would be the best. And then you go into A and B and C and D and go down. And then you'll say like, oh, these restaurants are S tier. These are the best fast food restaurants. The next would be A tier. Whatever. So it's kind of common for YouTubers to do that and say, this is what I like, because, you know, then their fans, their viewers will, you know, talk in the comments a lot and say, oh, you're wrong. That, you know, McDonald's isn't that good. McDonald's is C tier or whatever, you know, they'll argue about that kind of stuff. And then, so it's also kind of fun to do with friends. I've done it with my friends where you go and you kind of argue about what are the, you know, what is the best burger restaurant? And, you know, maybe you wouldn't be surprised that almost nobody puts McDonald's as the best burger restaurant. Yeah, I know I said I wouldn't talk about burgers, but I would say on the East Coast, the best burger restaurant is called Five Guys. And on the West Coast, the best burger restaurant, the most famous one is In-N-Out, and I think it's pretty good. And I don't know if either of those are in Japan. I don't think so. I know, what's it called? Not Freshness Burger. That's in Japan, but it's not that common in America. Shake Shack. Yeah, Shake Shack is in a few places in Japan, and that's pretty good too. Anyway, I said I wouldn't talk about burgers, so maybe I should end here. I think that's about all the main kinds of fast food restaurants. There's a few more. There's like other kinds of breakfast places that like do bagels only, or, you know, donuts. Maybe I should mention donuts, you know, Dunkin' Donuts, Krispy Kreme donuts. And then, yeah, I guess like, I don't know, coffee is maybe getting a little bit outside of fast food, but of course you can get food at like a Starbucks, or something like that. But yeah, I would say those are maybe the main ones. The what did I say? Chicken, trying to get this in the right order. Chicken, sandwiches, pizza, Mexican, Chinese, and then other, I guess. Honorable mention goes to one of the weirdest fast food restaurants in America. Is called Skyline Chili. It's pretty much only around Cincinnati, Ohio. Cincinnati is a city. And it's just a restaurant that serves chili, but they serve it chili over spaghetti. So it's like, it's basically spaghetti with meat sauce. But they call it chili, and then you can add like onions and cheese on top. It's really weird. I've been once in my life when I visited Cincinnati, and it's not bad, but I just don't understand how that dish is like a whole fast food chain. And I think there's even other chains in the Cincinnati area that do that. It's not just this one Skyline place. But anyway, I'm still talking, and I said I would end it, so I'll leave it there. This one got a little bit long. Thanks for listening if you listened this long, and I'll talk to you again next time. Bye.